I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while now. Something to the effect of, well, hey Seth, just want to let you know that everything is progressing forward up here in Virginia. This is the closing date. This is this. Just want to ask you how everything's going with listing down there. And then immediately the conversation turns. I just want to recommend that you lower the price by $30,000, and then you'll have a bidding war, and then you bid these people against each other to get the price up, and then when you see who's committed, you rebid them against each other to drop all contingencies and appraisals and inspections. And then you'll be under contract in a couple of days. And I said, hold my beer, I gotta start typing with my 3-finger pecking, okay? Referrals, here's the thing. Referrals are very straightforward, okay? And I don't think, yeah, help me out here. Nobody guess, okay? Think of that for a second. I just want to make sure I'm not having a grandpa moment. Did I tell y'all the story about the agent in Virginia that I referred business to?
No.
I did not. Cool. So here's the rules for referrals. So long as they are actively licensed in any state, and you are actively licensed, right? You can give and receive referrals in the entire U.S. of A, no problem, all right? You can send a referral to California and get paid. You can send a referral to Florida, you can get paid. They can send one to you and you can pay them. But here's the rule. You are only licensed in the states that you actually hold a license in. So, in other words, stay in your lane, bro. Do not send a referral down to Florida and then go down into Florida to assist. That would be illegal brokerage activities in Florida. And the Real Estate Commission of North Carolina, yet again, has a firm stance. If you go into the state to assist in any way, you have forfeit any referral fee that you would have been due because you've committed illegal brokerage. Now, let me expand on that. We're not saying you can't go to Disney World, right? We're not saying you can't go to the entire state of Florida if you send a referral down there. But do not go down there to see that house. Do not go down there to give advice on the offer. Do not go down there to do anything of that nature. So let me explain what happened to me in the real world. Oh, and as an educator and a hothead in some instances, yeah, I had a field day with this. I had a client last year who was listing a home in Clayton. It was the first transaction I ever closed. He was reselling his home and he was moving because he had a job offer in Virginia. And so I went and I met with him and we talked about listing the home, and it was in the market, was still really good, and I knew exactly what it was going to look like to sell his home. So I found a firm or an agent up in Virginia in the area that he was looking at. And, he had good reviews. I just looked at all of his, reviews and his closings and all that stuff. So I found him and I called him up. I said, hey, Slick, I saw you on blank and, I researched you and I've got clients going up there who are selling here and they're going to be purchasing there. Would you be interested in helping them in this area? He says, sure, absolutely. I said, great. Well, I sent him a referral agreement because you should always sign a referral agreement, right, to make sure that we're all compensating each other and it's all going to be on the up and up. So I send him one, he signs it, I send the contact information. And so that first weekend, my clients were going to go up there to visit Virginia for the first time to get an idea, because at this point the market was very hard to get under contract, but very easy to sell, right? Being a buyer sucked. Being a seller was awesome at this point in the market. Well, they went up there, and on the first weekend, they got under contract on a house. I was like, well, crap, because their house was not ready to be listed. But we rushed it, we got it ready, we listed it. And here's the thing. I did a CMA. I knew the market well. There was a comp that had just closed, and I priced it exactly where it was supposed to be. And I got an email, a day after I listed the house. It went live, and I communicated with that agent. He emailed me. You ready for this? He sent me an email, I'm paraphrasing because it's been a while now, something to the effect of, well, hey Seth, just want to let you know that everything is progressing forward up here in Virginia. This is the closing date, this is this. Just want to ask you how everything's going with listing down there. And then immediately the conversation turns. I just want to recommend that you lower the price by $30,000, and then you'll have a bidding war. And then you bid these people against each other to get the price up. And then when you see who's committed, you rebid them against each other to drop all contingencies and appraisals and inspections. And then you'll be under contract in a couple of days. And I said, hold my beer. I got to start typing with my 3-finger pecking, okay? So I did this weird little thing. And I responded to him and I said, hey, Chachi, listen, as an instructor, I just want to let you know that you just broke, I'm what sure is licensed law in your state. You just gave real estate brokerage advice in North Carolina, which I'm pretty sure you don't have a license here. As an educator, let me please impress upon you that that is not acceptable. You don't know what you're talking about, and you need to cease and desist right now. Well, then he goes on, and he responds. You ready for this? He responds. He's like, no, I'm telling you, this is what you need to do. I've got a script I can send you to bid these people and get them where they need to be. And yet again, I respond. I see your script. Please understand that that is exceptionally illegal to utilize in North Carolina. Responds again. No, it's not. The coach I use teaches it all over the country. And I responded to him again. My God, you idiot. It's not legal. If your coach teaches that here, you're in trouble. He's in trouble. Just shut up. Thank God he finally got the message to stop emailing at least. So he picked up the phone and called me so there'd be no paper trail of his illegal brokerage activity. And this is where I had to put him in his place and show him just what a moron he was. And I said, listen to me. Okay, listen. Linda, listen. Okay? It is illegal to disclose material terms of an offer in North Carolina without permission of the offeror. If I was to bid people against each other, that's called shopping offers. It's prohibited. So your script is stupid. And he's like, well, lowering the price is going to get more buyers and this, that, and the other. I do it on every single listing. I said, if you use the same strategy on every listing, you are a moron because there is different tactics for different listings. And it just went on and on and on. This damn fool just wouldn't shut up. And so then I was finally like, you know what? Let's just have a conversation that actually matters. I will get this under contract my way because I know this market. You do not. And it's going to work out perfectly. But here's what I need to know from you. Is your closing date a time is of the essence concept? He's like, what do you mean? Is the closing date a time is of the essence concept? Well, the closing date's the closing date. And I said, bless your heart. Listen to me, okay? Try to follow along here, child. I said, in North Carolina, we have a 7-week buffer built in to say if there's any delays, nobody's in trouble. Do you have anything like that? Well, the closing date's the closing date, but I can try to ask the seller if we can move it a little bit. Thank you. That's so helpful. I appreciate you being able to process that thought. And then I said, tried to explain like a due diligence period to him. And he was just taken aback. He's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, you have to understand, even if we get this thing under contract, there's a period of time that this deal may fall through. And he could not grasp the head around due diligence. And so towards the end of our conversation, I said, do you see why you should shut your damn mouth and not give advice outside of states that you don't know anything about? You didn't even, like, basic concepts. And so several times, throughout the transaction, I said, dude, nobody will ever send you business again if that's the, I'm like, you suck. So, ultimately, everything closed. But, I ripped this guy a new one. He was the most obnoxious human being. And I had to tell him that. I'm like, I called you and sent you business. Well, you know what happened after that conversation on the phone? 2 days later, I had it under contract for full asking price, perfect closing date, no contingencies. And I texted him like, oh, by the way, it worked out exactly like I said it would. Please, for the love of God, don't ever be that agent. Ugh. Exhausting. That's really happened. And as an educator, I had a field day with it, right? I ripped him a new one. So the point is, do not, let me give you one much more simple example. I had a client who was doing the opposite. It was a friend of mine who lived in Tennessee. And so he was buying here and needed to sell there. Same thing. I found an agent in Tennessee. I referred him to an agent in Tennessee to list his house. And the market, it was still in that kind of same time frame where the market was good. And the agent was great. We communicated. Everything was fine. and he listed it and they got an offer in, and the offer was a little bit less, and the terms were not exactly what my friend expected. And so he came to me and he said, well, this is what it was. Like, what do you think? And I said, I can't think anything. I said, I know what that would look like in North Carolina, but we're going to have to rely on homeboy because I don't know Tennessee. I can tell you that I would have probably gotten more in North Carolina, but I do not know Tennessee. Does that make sense? And that's it, right? Because I knew my role. So I must impress upon you to know yours as well. When it comes to referrals, stay in your lane, bro. That's my favorite saying. Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane, girl, bro. Whatever you are, right? Whatever you identify as, I'm cool with it. I'm down with it, right? I'm eclectic. What you got, D?
Do you find that, like, when you're doing referrals like that, do you find they more go smoothly or more are
Bless you.
that last guy?
More often they go smoothly. Here's the thing. We should always be communicating with each other, for like dates and everything. So yeah, we need to make sure that the deal goes smoothly. But I tell you what, sometimes you just pick wrong because I vetted that guy and everything looked good when I talked to him on the phone, but he was a tool, is what he was. And so he made my life a little more difficult than it needed to be. After I set him straight, the deal went fine, right? Everything was fine. But then the question I asked myself, D, was did he actually look out for my people up in Virginia, or did he make them pay way more than they really needed to pay? At the end of the day, I couldn't say one way or another. Could he probably have gotten them a better deal? Probably gotten them less deposits, but he has to answer for that, not me. So sometimes you just feel bad because you send somebody a referral and you think they're going to take care of your people, and they don't,